it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are going to be doing a Cricut project. I'm going to be using my original Cricut Expression. Now I am using the universal overlay because I am using the new frozen cartridge. What I'll do is, if you go to the corresponding blog post to this video, and I'll put the link down below here, I will put on that blog post for you a video that I made showing you how to use the universal overlay. So the one I want to make is this image of Olaf, and this was decided upon by you, my Lolliettes, because I put a poll up to say which character would you like me to do first, and he was the overwhelming favourite, so your wish is my command. Okay, so I have set my machine to have the size at 3 inches. Anyway, I've then got maximum speed and maximum pressure because I'm using my American Crafts cardstock here, which I love. I've got it in these little 6-inch squares as well. Now when I do my multiple colours here, what I do is I try to set it out in the order that I'm going to be cutting. So in this case we're going black first, which is there, then the white, then the orange, and then the blue, and then brown, which obviously at the moment we haven't popped on there. So first things first, let's put our mat into the machine. So let's just load the mat, and then what we want to do is we want to cut the first image, which is our base image, which is Olaf, which is number 21. So we just click number 21. Wait for it to come up in your screen here, which he has, and we know everything else is set correctly, so let's just click cut. Now on my white piece I also am wanting to cut this snowflake here, so I want to cut that in the white and the blue. So anyway, we're going to cut first our Olafs. According to this, it's very easy with this universal overlay actually. You've got shift and number 21. So literally just get your shift key, press number 21. We know we're on the right colour because I put it in order, and then once it comes up just press cut. Now just before we leave the white, I'm going to go to this snowflake, which is number 50, and I'm going to cut the shift 50 as my white. Oh, I meant to change the size, and then I'm going to take it down to 1.5 inches, so it's half of what it is, and then we're just going to hit cut. Hopefully now some juice. No, that's perfect. Okay, so now we're going to hit line return, and we want to remember to make that to 3 inches again, and then we want to go across to the orange, and we want to go back to Olaf, and we've got his little nose there, so it's F1, which is feature key 1, and then just the number 21 key. So feature key 1, and then number 21. Again, wait for it to come up there. If it doesn't do it right and you end up cutting out something wrong, so his little carrot there, and then we'll cut that out, and then we're going to go up to the blue, and the blue is the inside of his mouth there, so we want shift feature key 1 number 21. So it's already on feature key 1, so we just want to hit shift, oops, shift 21. Wait for it to come up, that's correct, and then hit cut. Again, just going back to our number 50 on our snowflake, I want to do just the plain 50 in the blue, and that was at 1.5 inches, so we just want to take that down to the 1.5 inches and take the feature key off, hit number 50, wait for it to come up and click. And I've got this gorgeous extra snowflake here in the 3 inches, so I think I may as well cut another one in the 3 inches anyway. So we want to unload our mat, and then we're going to put our brown on and cut the last layers. Okay, so I've taken all those pieces off now, and I've loaded my mat up with the next 2 colours because we want to do the sticky parts in brown and we want the little coal pieces in the black. We're going to do our sticks here, which are F2, function key 2, number 21. So function key 2, number 21, wait for that to come into the viewfinder and then click. Okay, and then move that up to here, and then we want to do these little coal pieces here, which is shift function key 2, which we've already got, and 21. So we've already got the function key 2 on, so we just need to do shift 21, wait for that to come up and hit that, and then unload that, and we have cut all our pieces out, so we're ready now to put it all together. So we're just going to take this black piece here first, and then I'm going to take his white body, just going to turn it over. I've got some Sig pen here, so I'm just going to colour that over the top and then pop that piece onto there like that, and I think you can see you just get like a little edge around it, which looks really nice. And then we're going to take his middle part of his body, so then just taking that, put the glue on it and pop that in position. Again, I just want to lift him up. I find if you lift them up, you can then just wriggle them into position much easier, like so. And let's get these 2 out of the way. I'm so nervous I'm going to lose those 2. Then we're going to get his little face, and make sure you don't lose those little white pieces there of his eyes. You need those. So then I'm just going to turn this over, and again just, and then we're just going to pop this piece down, and I just want to move that bit over just a tiny bit so that then that fits in there like so. So you see how he's coming together now, isn't he cute? Now I want to do these little eyes, these white pieces, like so, and then just try and pop that in place using my tool here. And then the next thing I want to put in is his little nose, or his little carrot really. So again, just making sure it's the right way up, and then just pop that in position like so. There we go. Doesn't he look adorable? So we've got this blue piece here, and just taking my little tool here to hold it in position. I think I would suggest that 3 inches that we've done here is probably as tiny as you're going to get this piece. Okay, so that's the inner part of his mouth, and then we've got this little piece here, and I'm actually just going to put the glue onto the black there because I think that'll be easier, and then we'll just pop that on, and this is like his little teeth, like so. Ain't that cute? And then we've got his little arms, So again, I'm just going to add the glue to the arms themselves. And again, you've got the shadowing on that, so it's not meant to cover the black completely. It's just meant to sort of part cover it. There we go. And then finally, a little dot in each of these. Now, we could here just use our little coal pieces that we've cut out, or we could use some little gems. Even though I cut these out, I thought afterwards that these lovely black crystals, they're not actually, they're pearls or anything, they're actual crystals, and I think they're going to be so nice stuck down onto these on his sort of as his coal. It gives that a real dimension. Okay, so I think that is him complete. Isn't he adorable? I love the gems on there as well. Okay, so now we're going to put him to one side for a minute and we're going to put our card together. Okay, so I've got myself a pre-scored 6x6 card base, which I'm going to have as a top folding card. And I also found this gorgeous piece of card from Hunky Dory that I can't remember the name of the kit, but I think this is just going to be perfect. So I'm going to cut, I think this end and stick that as a whole piece just on the front of my card here. So I'm just going to pop that to 6x6. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to put some blue cardstock on the inside. So I'm just going to get some wet glue and just pop that all across there, and then stick that down on the back. Now there's two reasons for this. One, I think it looks better, and two, we're putting quite a heavy piece of card onto the front of our card base, so we want to make sure that there's some balance, because otherwise it will be too weak at the back. Okay, so that's that one. Then we've got these two snowflakes. I've stuck them together, which I think they look really nice. So then again, I'm just going to take my wet glue here and I'm just going to gently put a tiny bit of glue on each piece here. So that's that one. And then we've got our little one here, and I think I just want to pop him up in the corner here. I think that just finishes the inside off, makes it just looks really pretty and gives it a good look. Okay, so we just pop that like that. Now I'm going to take my little piece here that I have cut to size. So I've cut it to 6x6, and again I'm just going to use my wet glue here. I like using the wet glue for two reasons. One, it's quite heavy cardstock that we're using here, and two, it does give you some movement time, so it's much stronger, but it also gives you some time to move the card if you haven't quite got it in the right place, like so. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to get Olaf, and I think for him we want to just add him on a little bit of height. So I'm just going to use for that some of my glue gel here. Just a little bit of here, blob there, and a big blob there. And I want to put Olaf kind of just sort of jumping in that sort of area here, and sort of between those trees. Kind of like there, I think. So then we'll just give him a little squidge. Actually, before I do that, we'll just pull him up a minute. I am just going to add a tiny bit. I'll just take my finger to that a little bit of the wet glue to the little arms so that when I push it down I can push his arms down, and again that just gives a bit more dimension, and they're stuck down so they're a little bit more safe as well. So I think that works really well. That looks like he's kind of jumping up out of the snow, which I think looks really cool. So then I've got a few little snowflakes. They're just like little crystally, holographic-y white sort of snowflakes here. So I'm just going to pop these down, and what I want to do though is make sure that I want the space to put a bow up here. Let's do the snowflake something like that. So we'll just use my glue gel and pop those down, and then we're going to just put my bow. So we want a reasonable blob there for the bow, so we want to make sure it stays put like so. The last thing I think is that I just want to put maybe just a little crystal, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit of the glue gel onto the bow there, and I think that will just finish that centre of the bow just lovely. Just trying to make sure he's nicely centred there. Okay, and then just the very last thing I did, and I'm hoping you can catch it, is I added lots of stickles to the trees and even a little bit to Olaf here. Hopefully you can just catch that, but if not, if you take a look at the photos you should be able to see it on there as well. Okay, and that is our card complete. Doesn't he look adorable? I love it on that background. I think that looks so great. And then on the inside we've just got our snowflakes to finish off. So I hope you've enjoyed making our frozen card. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.